It's midnight and you're watching Nightline with me, Liana Hassanel. The top stories. Malaysia and Saudi Arabia agreed to closer collaboration in defending Gaza. And Manchester United legend Sir Bobby Charlton dies aged 86. Manchester United and England legend Sir Bobby Charlton has died on Saturday. He was 86. According to a statement from the legend's family, Charlton was surrounded by his family when he breathed his last. Manchester United also paid their own tribute to Charlton, who they called one of the greatest and most beloved players in the club's history. Charlton played 758 games and scored 249 goals during 17 years as a Manchester United player, winning the European Cup, 3 league titles and the FA Cup. For England, he won 106 caps and scored 49 goals for England and won the 1966 World Cup. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Saudi Arabia's Prime Minister, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, have agreed to foster closer cooperation on the issue of Gaza. The Prime Minister said Malaysia will continue to exert pressure on the matter due to the reluctance of certain countries that are not in agreement with the stance of other Islamic countries.
Keganasan berterusan atau pelanggaran ke atas Gaza itu akan memberikan kesan yang parah. Dari segi keselamatan rantau akan mendorong dan memaksa penglibatan beberapa kelompok atau negara lain dan tidak akan membantu untuk meredakan ketegangan sementara.
Anwar added that he had expressed the view that more intense clashes must be avoided so as to hinder the involvement of other groups, which could affect global security. In addition, the Prime Minister also said that Malaysia has no other choice but to continue to speak out about the rights of the Palestinians in Gaza, despite opposition from the West. He explained that several other countries have also voiced similar concern, proving the grave importance of the issue, which has sparked global attention. In the meantime, the Prime Minister said during the meeting, the two leaders have also agreed to the introduction of a diplomatic and security channel, as well as an investment channel, aimed at boosting coordination between Malaysia and Saudi Arabia. Anwar earlier was granted an audience with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at the Al Yamanah Palace in Riyadh. The face-to-face meeting was based on the Crown Prince's personal invitation to Anwar after Saudi Arabia hosted the first ever ASEAN Gulf Cooperation Council GCC summit in the capital on Friday. During the meeting, both leaders discussed several issues of mutual interest, including development opportunities in both countries. Crown Prince Mohammed and Anwar also discussed the ongoing Palestinian-Israel conflict that flared up again on October 7th. On October 5th, Anwar had received a phone call from Crown Prince Mohammed inviting him to visit Saudi Arabia. Anwar also expressed Malaysia's concern over the Palestinian-Israeli conflict to the Muslim World League. The Prime Minister discussed the matter with the Secretary-General of the Muslim World League, Dr. Muhammad bin Abdul Karim Al Isa, during a visit to the League's office in Riyadh. During the closed-door meeting, they discussed, among others, the issue of the attacks against Palestine and the consensus that should be taken by leaders of Muslim countries and the world's network of scholars regarding the conflict. They also discussed the issue of da'wah and Islamic education in conjunction with the International Ulama Muzakara that will be organized in Malaysia. Meanwhile, only 20 trucks out of more than 200 carrying 3,000 tons of emergency humanitarian aid that have been positioned near the Rafah crossing for days have been allowed to enter the Gaza Strip from Egypt on Saturday. The United Nations said the convoy, which includes life-saving supplies, would be received by the Palestinian Red Crescent. However, the aid was a fraction of the quantity needed, and it was unclear how much aid will be allowed to pass in coming days. It added that at least 100 trucks a day are needed to cover urgent needs, and that any delivery of aid needs to be sustained and at scale. The Hamas-run government in Gaza, meanwhile, said the limited convoy will not be able to change the humanitarian catastrophe, calling for a secure corridor operating around the clock. In the meantime, Gaza's health ministry said that the Israeli aircraft had overnight targeted several family houses across Gaza, one of the world's most densely populated places, killing at least 50 people and injuring dozens. This has led the death toll in Gaza to 4,385 Palestinians, while more than 13,000 have been left injured. In the meantime, hundreds of thousands of people gathered across the globe to show support to Palestine. In London, thousands of Palestinian supporters gathered to march in streets across the city as Gaza aid efforts intensify. The Palestine Solidarity Campaign, PSC, said it expects 200,000 people to join what it claims will be the biggest march for Palestinian rights in British history on Saturday in London. In Sydney, thousands took part in a pro-Palestinian march on Saturday, getting last-minute approval amid concerns after some protesters at an earlier rally had chanted anti-Jewish slogans. Demonstrators were chanting "Palestine will never die" and waving Palestine flags as police, including officers on horseback, patrolled the event that closed city streets. No arrests had been made, and the organizer Palestine Action Group spokesperson Amal Nasser said the march was peaceful. Pro-Palestine rallies were also scheduled on Saturday in state capitals Brisbane, Perth and Hobart. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim continued the unity government's efforts to attract global investors to Malaysia during the last day of his working visit to Saudi Arabia by holding a meeting with industry leaders on Saturday. The Prime Minister took the opportunity to meet with Saudi Arabia's Trade Minister, Dr. Majid Abdullah Al-Kasabi, and the President and Chief Executive Officer of Saudi Aramco, Amin H. Nasser, to discuss more about the world's largest oil and gas company's investment plans in Malaysia. Previously, Aramco had voiced its intention to make Malaysia a hub for Saudi Arabia's oil and gas development in Southeast Asia. In 2017, Petronas and Aramco established a joint investment in Pengerang, Kota Tinggi and Johor. Fortune Global 500 in 2021 placed Saudi Aramco in the top 6 most profitable companies in the world, with a turnover of $105 billion. The Prime Minister was accompanied by Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Zamri Abdul Kadir and the Malaysian Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Datuk Wan Zaidi Wan Abdullah. Saudi Arabia is Malaysia's largest trading partner among West Asian countries, with total bilateral trade between the two countries in 2022 amounting to $10.26 billion. The Prime Minister also met leaders of Malaysian and Saudi Arabian companies that have established cooperation in several projects related to real estate, technology, and aviation in both countries. He then witnessed the exchange of Memorandum of Understanding documents between Westar Aviation Services Sdn Bhd and Mukamalah Aviation Company, Dagang Exchange Berhad and Achlan Bros Holding Group, Twistcoat Technologies Sdn Bhd and Achlan Bros, as well as MGB Berhad and Sani Alamaria. Anwar is on a 2-day working visit to Riyadh for the ASEAN GCC Summit, which was held for the first time since the two regional blocs established relations in 1990. Some 2,083 contract medical officers will be absorbed into permanent positions by December this year. Health Minister Dr. Zaliha Mustafa said part of the placement of contract medical officers was completed at the end of July.
Dan insyaAllah dengan kerjasama SPA, kita pula akan uruskan untuk menawarkan pelantikan tetap lagi untuk 2083 lagi tambahan pegawai perubatan kontrak ke tetap. Jadi insyaAllah kita jangka untuk diorang melapor diri di fasiliti kita pada akhir Disember ini.
She was speaking at a media conference after attending the Health Ministry Training Institute convocation ceremony in Ulu Quinta, Perak. Dr. Zaliha added the number was part of the 12,800 permanent posts announced by the Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, in the 2023 budget. Meanwhile, Dr. Zaliha said that until September 23rd this year, there were a total of 37,058 medical contract workers in the country, with 31,459 vacancies, with 27% of the vacancies having been filled by contract workers. The Jepat State by-election on November 4th will see a three-way battle between the candidates from Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS, Parti Bumi Kenyalang PBK and Parti Aspirasi Rakyat Sarawak or Aspirasi. Jepat by-election returning officer Abang Zainuddin Abang Turki announced the acceptance of nomination papers from GPS's Iskandar Turki, aged 54, Aspirasi's Chiang Liap Ping, aged 65, and PBK Stevenson Joseph Sumbang, aged 42.
Nama 1 Cheng Liping Parti Aspirasi. 2 Iskandar Turki Parti GPS. 3 Stevenson Joseph Sumbang Parti PBK.
Iskandar handed in the nomination papers at 9:03 a.m., followed by Stevenson at 9:09 a.m., while the nomination papers Ching was received at 9:12 a.m. The by-election is being held following the death of the incumbent Datuk Talib Zulkifli on September 15th. The Jepat Assemblyman from Parti Pesaka Bumi Putra Bersatu, PBB, the main component in the ruling GPS, died due to kidney complications. He won the Jepat seat in the 2021 state election with a majority of 4,243 votes. Meanwhile, GPS expressed its confidence of winning the Jepat by-election. It, however, will not take the challenge of the opposing parties lightly. PBB Deputy President Datuk Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan said the confidence was based on the past good track record of GPS in the area. Awang Tengah said Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg's high-quality leadership has been proven as the GPS government has managed to move towards sustainable development in all aspects in terms of infrastructure and other basic facilities. He pointed out that a bigger win for GPS in Jepat is important as it will ensure the continuity of the previous plans of its incumbent, the late Datuk Talib Zulkifli, who had already made such a great contribution to the people in his constituency.
Kerajaan GPS telah pun berjaya menuju ke arah pembangunan yang hebat, ya, dalam semua sudut. Dari segi pembangunan infrastruktur, kemudahan-kemudahan asas yang lain.
Awang Tengah, who is also the GPS election director for the by-election, said the coalition will start mobilizing its election machinery on the ground in a day or two and hopes voters will show their support and cast their votes on November 4th for GPS candidate Iskandar Turki, who is from the Vey community. The first of its kind Festival of Media, organised by the Media Specialists Association of Malaysia, MSA, was held in conjunction with the MSA Awards Gala Night 2023 at a hotel in Bandar Utama on Friday. The most prestigious awards in the Malaysian media industry also witnessed a record-breaking number of entries, with over 300 submissions.
So this award is very important to us because, it helps our talents celebrate the best work that they do, and we want them to continuously strive to do better work, more innovation, work that delivers results for our clients. So it's a very, very important thing.
With the theme Reimagining Tomorrow, the awards and festival reflect the industry's dedication to embracing new technology and trends while preserving the value of traditional media. The event also brought together over 33 influential speakers and panelists to discuss the vision for a forward-thinking media landscape. Organizing chairman of the MSA, Sandeep Joseph, highlighted the challenges and opportunities brought about by artificial intelligence, AI, digital advertising, and the coexistence of traditional media.
I still think that mediums like out-of-home, TV have a role to play. So how does all this come together, and what will tomorrow be like, right? And how will our people in our industry evolve? People are worried that with AI they'll lose jobs and all that, but we see the industry will evolve and it will incorporate the old and the new media and make and progress. Yeah.
Sponsors of the Festival of Media and the MSA Awards 2023 include Media Premier Omnia, Inity, Etika Holdings, Sinijaya, and Sky Blue Media. The event, with its record-breaking number of entries and strong industry support, stands as a testament to the unwavering commitment of the Malaysian media industry to innovation, excellence, and sustainability. Pakistan's former leader returns after 4 years in exile. News from the Foreign Front when we return. Pakistan's three-time Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif arrived back in Islamabad on Saturday after 4 years of self-imposed exile, primed to make a political comeback ahead of elections. According to Nawaz's legal team, while he cannot run again for election or hold public office because of his convictions, he plans to appeal and aims to become Prime Minister for a fourth time. His biggest challenge, however, will be to wrestle back a support base from his main rival, Imran Khan, who, despite being in jail, remains popular following his ouster from the premiership in 2022. Nawaz's return comes at a time when the nuclear-armed South Asian nation of 241 million people is experiencing the impact of a worst economic crisis, which was exacerbated during the 16-month rule of his younger brother, Shehbaz Sharif, who led a coalition government after Khan's removal. The U.S. federal government recorded a budget deficit of nearly $1.7 trillion in fiscal year 2023, which ended in September, up 23.2% from the previous year. According to the department's final monthly treasury statement, the huge deficit came as revenue fell by $457 billion from a year ago to reach $4.4 trillion. Non-partisan organization Peter G. Peterson Foundation noted that U.S. deficits are mainly caused by aging baby boom generation, rising healthcare costs, and a tax system that does not bring in enough money to pay for what the government has promised its citizens. They added that the COVID-19 crisis has also accelerated an already unsustainable fiscal trajectory. The latest budget shortfall has added to the already ballooning U.S. debt, which now stands at a staggering $33.6 trillion.
Good morning. Speaking of a good morning, what should always come first? Showering or having breakfast?
Shower first lah.
Well, you can clean your teeth first.
Football, the 2023 Malaysia Cup. Terengganu FC will take a one-goal advantage back home as they claimed a 2-1 win over the KL City FC in the first leg of their semi-final clash. Playing at the Chera Stadium, Ivan Mahmud put the visitors in front 2 minutes into the second half, before substitute Nick Sharif Hasafi scored the second for the Turtles in the 87th minute. KL City managed to grab a goal just before the final whistle when Chet Chakipre scored a penalty. Nightline returns. 14 million ringgit worth of smuggled goods seized. Nightline. One local fashion model has made history by being the first Malaysian Indian to appear on the cover of Vogue magazine. FMT's Tivia Ragu meets Vanessa Vasatananam, who shares his story.
Meet Malaysia's very own supermodel, Vanessa Vasatananam. This local talent has made history as the first Malaysian Indian to grace the cover of Vogue. Debuting in Vogue Singapore's anniversary October issue, Vanessa now joins the company of fashion legends like Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss, who have adorned the pages of this iconic fashion magazine. Vanessa recently caught up with FMT Lifestyle to spill the beans on her achievements and the journey that brought her here.
So for me, the day I started modeling, it was always has been like, I want to do this for my people. I want to represent my country because I don't see anyone who looks like me to represent internationally and even locally.
Vanessa has earned international acclaim, turning heads at Milan Fashion Week last year and featuring on billboards globally for the beauty campaign in 2019. Now 30, Vanessa began her modeling career 8 years ago in Kuala Lumpur when a fashion student approached her for a project. A photographer spotted her during the show, and the rest is history. While Vanessa exudes confidence with every pose today, she admits it hasn't always been this way.
At the beginning of my career, I was very reserved person. Definitely I was not confident about myself, my color, my height. Because growing up, I felt like, fair is beautiful, and because our society was like that. So only when I started my modeling career, I would say modeling career changed my life, changed the way I see myself, and it gave me that confidence.
Celebrated for her rich complexion, Vanessa stands as a rarity in the Southeast Asian modeling scene, actively challenging contemporary beauty standards.
Before the campaign came out, I was going through a lot with my life, and so I was at my lowest. And when Sephora campaign came out, and there's this one girl messaged me and told me finally I see someone who looks like me on a billboard. I think that's the reason why I'm into this full time, because I want to give my 101%.
It's clear that this is only the beginning for Vanessa, and may she inspire many more such talents from our country. Tivia Ragu, FMC Lifestyle for Nightline.
A total of 15 individuals involved in diesel fuel and frozen chicken smuggling activities were detained by police during Optiris and Optaring, which took place from October 10th to 20th. Bukit Aman Department of Internal Security and Public Order Director Datuk Sri Hazani Ghazali said they were arrested in raids conducted nationwide by the Wildlife Crime Bureau and Special Investigation Division. In a statement on Saturday, Hazani said through 4 Optiris raids, 12 individuals, including 11 local males aged between 20 and 48 years, as well as one 22-year-old Myanmar national, were detained. The total seizure is estimated to be worth over 1.46 million ringgit. The cases are being investigated under the Supply Control Act. In Optaring, the Special Forces detained 1 male and 2 female Indonesian citizens aged between 26 and 36 years. Authorities also seized over 54,000 boxes of various frozen foods, 144 bags of granulated sugar, and 880 packets of cooking oil. The total seizure is estimated to be worth over 14 million ringgit. The cases are being investigated under the Animal Welfare Act and the Supply Control Act. This just in. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has departed for Istanbul, Turkey, to hold a meeting with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to discuss on the conflict between the Palestinians and the Zionist regime. He is accompanied by Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Zamri Abdul Qadir. The special aircraft with the Prime Minister on board left Raja Khalid International Airport 11:15 p.m. Malaysian time, headed for Istanbul International Airport. After his meeting with President Erdogan, Anwar is scheduled to travel to Cairo, Egypt on Sunday to meet Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Nightline draws to a close this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at a restored double-decker bus used by Paul McCartney and his band Wings for the 1972 European tour, heading to auction next month with a price estimated of around $300,000 US. And with that, I'm Lena Hassanel. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.